Good morning students, I am Shweta Mudgal. Students, today we will start with the fourth chapter of civics, that is understanding laws, which is given on page number 44 on your book. Now let's start. Before that, I would like to give you a brief description which we have read in the last chapter. What was that? Why do we need a parliament? As I told you that parliament plays an important role in the law making. So, we will read in this chapter about the laws. Laws plays an important role. You may have heard about certain laws like voting age, marriage age and buying and selling of a property. These laws plays an important role and we as a citizen elect the representatives who forms the law for us. In this chapter, I will tell you that do laws applies to all? How does new laws come about into the existence? Controversial and the unpopular law, and what do we as a citizens do in such circumstances? Do laws apply to all? Yes, the answer is that yes. How it? I will explain you in this slide. The law cannot discriminate between persons on the basis of their religion, caste or gender. What the rule of law means? It is underlined here, rule of law, which is very much important for you to know. The rule of law means that the law applied to everybody equally. There should be no discrimination on the basis of the caste, religion or gender. Whether the person is rich, poor, economically sound, politically sound, everybody is before the law. They have to follow the rule which has been made by the parliament equally. There is no discrimination which comes under the rule of law. Any crime of violation of law has a specific punishment as well as process through which the guilt of the person has to be established. Means if the person violated the rules and the regulations, the punishment given to him equally without any discrimination. Student, here it is important for you to know about the pre-independence or the post-independence. I am telling you the time or the era of the pre-independence when there was a British rule in our country. We had to do what they said to us. So, we can say there was an arbitrary use of power by the Britishers. In ancient India, there were innumerable and often overlapping local laws. Different communities enjoying different degrees of autonomy in administering these laws among their own. In some cases, the punishment for the same crime given to the two persons may vary depend on the castes. If the person belongs to the low castes, he or she will be highly penalized. This shows you that there was a discrimination at the British rule time. Okay. Now, the two examples of British arbitrariness. Here you can note down the meaning of arbitrary, that is autocratic in use of authority. Please note it down. Autocratic in use of authority means they were using the authority as they want. They were imposing rules on the Indians. They forced them to do whatever they want them to do. So, there was an example given in your book. One was Sedition Act in 1870. Under that, the British passed the Sedition Act in 1870. If the person is protesting or criticizing the British government, could be arrested without due trial. Means they couldn't oppose the British government. They have to follow them accordingly. Another was Rowlatt Act. It allowed the British government to imprison people without trial. Dr. Satpal and Dr. Saifuddin were arrested, and people gathered at Jallianwala Bagh to protest this arrest. What happened? General Dyer fired there, so many people killed there. This was the example of British arbitrariness. But here it is important for you to know that Indian nationalists have played a prominent role in the development of the legal sphere in India. Indian nationalists began fighting for greater equality and wanted to change the idea of law from a set of rules they were forced to obey. The Indian legal profession also began emerging. They started raising their voice against the set of the rules which was imposed by the Britishers on them. They put the legal rights of the Indians, they give them a right to put their voices. There was a certain rule which was passed by our representatives at that time. They framed many rules under that was a Hindu Succession Amendment Act. What was that? It is given on your book, page number 45. Please read it carefully. According to this law, sons, daughters and their mothers can get an equal share of family property. Means this was a kind of amendment. Law was already made, but they changed it. Now, again I am repeating, law, sons, according to this law, sons, daughter and their mother can get an equal share of the property. Our representatives formed many laws regarding enacted population control, pollution control and the providing them the services under an employment law. Now, how do new laws come about? This question come into your mind that how does new laws come about? Students, sometimes there are kind of the problems which is being faced by the people. After some time, they realize that they should overcome from this problem. So, they raise their voice in front of the government to bring out certain changes, to make certain laws or to modify the laws which is being existing. They appeal the government to do so. An important role of the parliament, as I have told you, that parliament plays an important role in the law making. From establish the need for a new law to its being passed, at every stage of the process, the voice of the citizen is a crucial element. This voice can be heard through TV reports, newspaper, editorials, radio broadcasts, local meetings. Means if people wanted to bring any change in the existing law or they want some laws to come, so they can raise their voice, which pressurize the government to work on it, to realize the problem of the common citizens, as since the constitution is one of the law making body, it is being pressurized to work on it and to resolve the problem of the common citizens here. In this unpopular and controversial laws, there are some kinds of laws which have already been formed, but after some time it is being felt that this will not work in the presenting society. Sometimes a law can be constitutionally valid, it is constitutionally valid and legal, but can continue to be unpopular and unacceptable to people because they feel that the intention behind is unfair and harmful. Student, here there is an example given in your book of the vendors and the hawkers who are using the municipal space within the municipal limits which are not legally correct. So, people can raise their voice, but we can come with two prospects, that's its advantages and the disadvantages. Advantages are that they are providing cheap services very efficiently to the common people, as well as it is a source of their livelihood. Another aspect is that they are blocking the walking place of the common people. So, they can raise their voice, said this should not be done. In a democracy, citizens can express their unwillingness. Because India is a democratic country, in a democracy, people have a right to raise their voice, to bring some amendments in the existing laws or to bring out some new laws. Their voice can be raised through their representatives who are being elected by them. When a large number of people begin to feel that a wrong law has been passed, then there is a pressure on the parliament to change it. If they raise their voice through demonstrations, hold meetings and criticizing the existing law, then it is a force on the government to change it. If the law favors one group and disregards the other, it will be controversial and lead to conflict. The controversial law is a law if law favors one group and disregards the other. This should not be done. If we are living in a democratic country, we should equally treat it. People who think that the law is not fair and approach to the court to decide. They can go to court to make justice whether this should be removed, whether this should be continued. Now, the power of the court comes into the power. The court has the power to modify or cancel. It is completely up to the court, as we have seen in recent Talaq 3 matters and the Ram Mandir matters recently. This is the power of the court which makes them to amend certain laws, to come up with new laws or to modify the existing laws. In India, the role of the citizen is also very important. We as a citizen elect our representatives who work on our behalf. What are they doing? We should keep a check on that. If we feel that they are doing something wrong, we have a right to criticize them. So, our part, our duty doesn't end up with electing representatives only. No, we should keep check on them, what they are doing. They are elected by us. It is our moral duty. Therefore, it is stated that people in a democratic country have the right to protest against the unjust laws. In this chapter, we have read they can force the government to form a new law or to protest against the unjust law if they find it so. The conclusion is that it is the extent, involvement and enthusiasm of the people that helps Parliament perform its representative functions properly. Means if we are showing our interest, we are keeping check on them, we are alerting them time to time, they would feel more moralized enthusiasm, and it is our duty of ours as a citizen of India to use it. I hope you are clear with this chapter. Thank you.